Hello and welcome to another special episode of Space Up Today. Joining me today is Skyrora's Business Operations Manager, Derek Harris. Thanks for popping on the show again, Derek. How's the week ahead looking?
Thank you very much for inviting me, Ryan. The week ahead looks busy and great and just basically going through all the great coverage we've been having recently.
Yeah, hopefully a bit more sunny weather as well for you.
Here's hoping. We're not known for it in Scotland, but I'm sure it's the same for yourself.
Exactly. Now, for those who are not so familiar with Skyrora, Skyrora design, manufacture, and very shortly will deploy rockets to clear the way for small satellite manufacturers looking to access space. Headquartered in Edinburgh with facilities located across Europe, Skyrora develop and launch vehicle technology to ensure the life-changing benefits of space are realised here on Earth. Few fun facts, correct me if I'm wrong, Derek. Total rocket experience, 200 plus years, and 60 plus staff at Edinburgh HQ, and 100 plus staff at the R&D facilities. Am I right?
Yeah, that's about right. I'm sure now that we add on our new CEO, Lee Rosen, who came in formerly of SpaceX, we could maybe put another 20 years in there or something. But if I say more, I'm sure he'll be looking for a new job.
Yeah. Lots more experience. And you're always recruiting more and more staff. I mean, just a few years ago, it was a lot less than that. And it's just going from strength to strength lately. The space industry as a whole, I think.
That's I think it's been the one industry that has managed to escape a lot of the knock-on effects from COVID and things. Whether it's ourselves or there's a huge amount of startups coming up and even the local satellite manufacturers and things. Everyone seems to be looking for staff at this moment in time. So it's really exciting to be in the space industry at the moment.
Fantastic. And Skyrora recently moved to a larger production facility. Can you tell us a bit more on that and any potential new hardware on site?
Yeah, so this one's been an incredibly difficult task to try and keep under wraps for a while. So there's a few times the story slipped out and various things, but we managed to keep it mostly at the main press until we wanted to do the release. So we've set up in an area called Cumbernauld, which is just outside of Glasgow, and it's basically going to be our site for integration in the main vehicle, the engines, the tanks, basically putting everything together. It's a huge factory, so it's a big increase in what we had. So it's roughly about 55,000 square feet, is my understanding, with that, plus a big yard, which allows us to do a lot of testing out there as well. From a new sort of toys to play with point of view, I would have to say the biggest thing in there that I've loved to see is the 3D printer for ourselves. So Skyprint 2, which is there to 3D printer engines. The first Skyprint, which I think we may have spoke about last time we were on, was about the size of a small shed sort of thing. So, but this one that allows us to do sort of 2 meters by 2 meters approximately, it's huge. It is just literally huge. I saw the steel frame when a few months back when I was going in when they were putting it in place to start it, and it takes up a huge corner of the sort of floor in the warehouse for us. But it's amazing being able to have that on the ground and to be able to start printing our engines, getting ready for launch.
Will that be predominantly just to printing the engines and the basic hardware and little bits like that?
That's correct. So at the moment, it's set up specifically for that. So that'll, I believe if it hasn't already started, it will do in the near future. So next couple of weeks, start printing the final engines we need for the first stage of XL to be ready to sort of fly next year. We are looking at different plans about spinning out the technology. After all, I think that's what the space sector is great at, the amount of technology and innovation that comes out to it and then gets spun out into other industries. That is certainly something that's on the cards, I think, for this printer.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's all going towards 3D printing. We've seen some companies stick to the traditional method, creating everything as you would, but a lot of companies moving towards 3D printing because it's more of a solid form object rather than lots of bits welded and joined together, so less chance of failure in a way.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. If you look at a rocket or any vehicle, the more moving parts you've got, so I know a rocket has more than 2,000, but let's say it has 2,000 parts. that's 2,000 ways it could go wrong and 2,000 failures.
Exactly.
So as you say, by reducing that down, it reduces the sort of time, the amount of failure that could happen with the engines down, but also allows us to sort of keep it in a sort of greener manufacturing process. So we don't need to sort of ship it in, ship out to different places for machining, welding, as you say. And the way our machine is set up, we can actually capture excess powder so it can be reused at another time as well.
Absolutely fantastic. In terms of the engine production and everything on that side, we've seen a lot of companies build their own engines and then provide it to other companies. Would Skyrora consider that in the near future if the demand is there?
Yeah, certainly. I know ever since the sort of test facility opened and a lot of the engines are there, we've been lucky enough to have visits from the European Space Agencies and a few large name companies, which I won't name for privacy reasons, of course, who have came by and they've looked at our facilities, whether that be testing the engine production. And there is a lot of things being picked up as positives from other players in the industry. So yeah, there is that possibility that there could be something there in the near future, but I would just have to say keep watching for the news.
Yeah, there seems to be updates coming in almost every week from testing and just little minor developments just along the chain, whether it be things with Rocket or on the legal side, because I know that's a lot of things in the pipeline. I know you applied for your launch license, I think, just a number of weeks ago. How is that going through at the moment with the government just recently basically setting up all the launch licenses, because it's never been essentially there within reason before?
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to say something here, which at this moment in time is a strange comment to make, given public opinion. But I think the government's done really well when it comes to this at the moment. To be able to pull it together, I think I said that last time as well, after the pandemic and such was great. But actually, the process that they're going through to review this document. So what people may not know is when you put your application in, you get, I think it's a 2 to 4 week sort of like grace period, for lack of a better term, where they do a quick review. They're not looking at the details. They're not looking for any of your trajectory analysis or anything you would really expect. What they're checking is you have everything you need. Because they don't want to spend 12 months, 18 months going through it and then coming back to you and say, by the way, you're missing section A, Z, and Y, for example. So we've been lucky enough. They've came back to us and said, nope, you've got one or two minor things that we want. Besides that, we're happy to go ahead. Can you get this to us in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And again, I have to really celebrate our team. So Gordon McNeil, our head of health and safety, for example, he's been leading the project on this. Gordon's not really one that gets a lot of mentions or seen a lot. He's really one of the men behind the scenes for us. And he's done a tremendous amount of work to get this over the line. So if any of you do manage to meet Gordon at any point, please buy him a pint. He really deserves it.
Absolutely fantastic. But hopefully all that comes through and everything. You can just crack on with the job at hand and just start launching and learning and delivering fantastic satellites into orbit and much more. Jumping into the latest news, Skyrora recently completed a massively successful second stage engine test of its upcoming Skyrora XL rocket. Overall, how did the test go and what's next on the checklist of testing?
Yeah, well, again, a big shout out to Dr. JJ Marlowe. He has led this test tremendously well. We have obviously our team from Glasgow as well, some of which are domestic, some of which are Ukrainian. So the whole team deserve a huge round of applause on this one. They managed to take the systems and the software and everything we've needed, which you'll have seen in the videos, get it up to Macrahanish, set up, do the test, and be done within 3 days. Again, this is really the agility on show here and has just been amazing for them. In regards to the results, yeah, excellent results and excellent feedback that we've got there. I think any time when you come home with the same equipment you go out with, there's always a bonus and a benefit of it there. Yeah. But we've had some interesting results coming back in from the feedback and the tests with that. But I think for me, the biggest thing is just the readiness level of the staff for it as well. So while we can talk a lot about the technological milestones and how the team have moved them forward with this is the second stage static test. We've had the third stage static test. Well, we know what's obviously comes next. You still need the first stage, and then you've fully integrated and ready to go. So there's only a few technical milestones left. But every time we do these sort of things, it's the amount of training and the amount of knowledge that staff get. And as soon as it's done, we're back at the office, back online, and it's let's have our lessons learned. What went well, what didn't go well. Let's move this forward, sort of thing. This is why we're really lucky to have the likes of GJ, Gordon, and Lee sort of leading that side of the company at the moment.
Yeah, and you at the first stage, you're planning on maybe hot fire testing in 2023. Is that still on the cards, or?
Well, of course, we'd love to get it this year. I'm greedy. You give me a bit of technological success to shout about, and I want more. But yeah, we're certainly on par to get it where we want in sort of maybe Q1 towards the beginning of Q2 for 2023, so we can be ready for launching once the license comes through.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first stage will be the more all-out impressive one, because it won't just be one engine or maybe two engines to start off with, obviously, but once they're all engines are side by side on that one unit, roaring away, I'm sure that'll be. I think the team will be absolutely over the moon with that. So it's really good seeing those single engines, but seeing that first stage, all those engines together roaring, it should be absolutely incredible to see, to be honest.
No, I completely agree. Nine engines, I can just imagine the noise. So I don't know if anyone's been lucky enough to ever go to an engine test before, but let me try and put it into words for you. So you go to a concert, something with deep, heavy bass, you get that boom, boom, boom that goes through your chest and that rumbling. That is very similar to what you can feel with like a single engine, the 70 kilonewton engine, for example. When we test it, we are maybe about 100 meters away, 150 meters away in a safety container for that. And you still get that feeling, that rumble in your chest. And it's such a strange but fun feeling. To multiply that by 9 engines,
give me something to hold on to.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be like having Metallica, Slayer, and all the big four sort of playing right outside your front door, stepping away with this.
Turn it up to 11.
Exactly. So yeah, as soon as we can get that up and running, as I say, we're en route with that. It's pretty soon. It'll be delightful, and I can't wait to be there and see the footage and release it to the guys in the sector and all the fans that want to see it.
Yeah, that'll be absolutely incredible. We've recently run through our own logistics of travelling to the Shetland Islands, because I know yourselves and a number of other companies are planning on launching there once it's all built and set up. What would be the plans for ferrying the likes of Skyrora XL? Because I know ourselves, there's a lot of cars, ferries, travelling. It's going to cost this much for that, or just a bit of a logistical nightmare. What would be the plans with that?
Yeah, well, certainly I'm aware Frank and Scott from Saxavord have looked into everything when it comes down to the spaceport. They've meticulously crossed their T's and dotted their I's on everything. So you have Balta Sound Airport, which is nearby, which can be in use. There's also a small port that I'm aware that's nearby, which the vehicle should be able to come in. There's roads being extended, as for the vehicles can get in and out on the back of trucks and things. So the logistics for that is there. I would expect I would hope we can take it from Grangemouth or something a bit closer from a port purpose, but worst case scenario, you're talking Aberdeen for logistical purposes, for ferries and sort of freight containers going across. From personnel, I normally, when I go across to see them, fly across into Sunborough, hire a car and go up. There's a lovely little town up there which has an expletive name that I'm still want to go and visit and get a photo side because I'm very much a child at heart. But yeah, you can drive up, fly up, get a car, and I think it's 2 ferries. So one from the mainland to the middle, and then from the middle to the actual one that Saxavord's on. So Yeah, it will be a bit of a trek for those coming, but I know Frank and the local community are really looking forward to welcoming everyone as to Shetland, and especially up at Saxavord. And there's plans for sort of, I don't want to say a resort because that makes it sound huge, but like hotel accommodation, things that people can stay at, sort of thing. That if they do want to come,
there will be that general interest, even if it's just the media from time to time. But especially one of the first couple of launches there, to look after at least some of the media in the public and everyone else that comes along. I know at the moment there's just a few. It's essentially just a little village almost at the moment that's there over there at the moment, and there's things there obviously, but nothing to cope with people coming en masse to see the very first launch at up in the Shetland Islands kind of thing. So I imagine a lot of things that have to be put in place alongside having all the infrastructure for the rocket launch there. Plus, you got to look after the crew.
Oh, that's it. I have to admit, I find it funny because it is a very small place, so most people do know each other. And I have been up on the hop without sort of telling them I was coming up, and it doesn't take long for them to realise we're there. Mind you, wearing sort of Skyrora logo, and locals have got kind of used to seeing us, and so we quickly get picked up for being up there. But the hospitality and even some of the local things that you can do up there. We were offered to go out fishing with some people. I know you've got, I think it's Shetland Rail, which is the official sort of brewery up there, which does, I can't remember the names of it, but they do a gin and they do a whiskey, both of which are quite nice. I am not on commission. But I was lucky enough to taste them. But yeah, they're looking to sort of just properly build around it and use this. There have been parts in the past where people have said, "Oh, the spaceports will bring hundreds and hundreds of jobs and things like this," and it's going to be. And I look at Kourou, for example, where it wasn't really built upon. You've got the spaceport there, but the rest of the society didn't really pick up from it. What Frank and Scott have done and what they're trying to do, I can see there is to expand.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible once it's set up. It'll benefit the UK space industry and that little village and so much more. Sticking on the topic of launches, you do have your Skylark L over in Iceland now. Do you have a rough launch date as of yet, or is that still in the works?
Yeah, that went over to Iceland last year, which was acknowledged on previous interviews. At the moment, it's still there. We've got to make a decision whether to bring it back or whether we want to pursue keeping to launch from there. So we have a couple of options there that we are in discussions with and moved legal discussions along with. So hopefully there can be some sort of announcement in the near future about the launch with that. As I say, there's lots of options. It's just taken a bit longer, and the weather window really dropped us last year for that. So then we had to do some more applications, and it just didn't work out. So here's hoping it may come, but it could just be that we bring back the vehicle from Iceland and then head to a different launch site. But I know the team's working really, really hard to get it launched, and we hope that we can find somewhere to get it launched this year.
Absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see that launch, because that launch of Skylark L will pave the way for Skyrora XL. It'll give you a multi-load of technology and research and everything, because all that technology that's on Skylark L will go towards the Skyrora rocket. It'll be absolutely incredible to see. But absolutely brilliant you having you on today, Derek. Love to have you on again. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. If you want to learn more about Skyrora, head over to skyrora.com. They've got a media section on there. Post stuff and updates on there quite often, and make sure you check out their social media. Thanks again, Derek.
Always a pleasure, Ryan, and I look forward to hopefully catching you at lunch in the near future.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that chat with Derek from Skyrora. If you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/totalspace. And don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to watch more of our content, make sure you check out our chat with Spacebot Cornwall and our previous chat with Skyrora. Thanks for watching.